So let's first start by closing our eyes and taking a couple of deep breaths together to get settled in. Maybe you were working today online or rushing around your house, whatever you were doing. Find a comfortable seat and close your eyes. And just take 3 deep breaths together. So inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. One more time, inhaling and exhaling. Okay, you can gently open your eyes, arriving in the space together. Hi everyone, I'm so excited to see all of your faces. Thank you for joining us here. This is the start of Nurses Week, and as an honor for nurses to celebrate them, Janelle and I wanted to throw a free online wellness series, especially for nurses, to help them promote self-care and wellness. So my name is Claudia. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a nurse practitioner, a yoga teacher, and sound healer from California. And I'm also the co-founder of Mindful Nurses. Janelle is the other co-founder of Mindful Nurses. She's also a yoga teacher and nurse practitioner. And we actually met while I was traveling in Asia. We met at a yoga teacher training in Bali. And we just had a lot of similarities, both being nurses and being interested in different holistic wellness practices. And we thought that all of these cool and interesting and helpful practices would be really beneficial to our nurse colleagues. And therefore we created Mindful Nurses. And so today starts the first day of 10 days for the Mindful Nurses online wellness series. So the series is free and open to all. And we have so many great practices. Today, Maya, who's in the room today, will be sharing Tibetan Buddhist Mindfulness meditations. We also have restorative yoga, yoga nidra, which is also called sleepy yoga. We have breath work. Janelle's going to be putting on a session on the 14th. I'm going to be doing a sound healing session on the 15th with Tibetan singing bowls. I learned that while I was in India. So we're super excited for everyone to be here. And I just want to see, can you guys do a thumbs up if you're excited about Nurses Week and this start of the wellness series? Woo! So excited to see all you guys. And I just want to see kind of who's in the room too. So if you're a nurse, can you type in the chat box what type of nurse you are and where you're calling in from? See, we have Karen, she's OBGYN from Walnut Creek from California. Welcome. Arnetta is a nurse practitioner from California. Jennifer's pediatric nurse, UCLA. And Laura is a nurse and she's in DC. We have some NP, Joanna's NP from Washington. Tabitha from LA. Grace, a nurse practitioner in family practice from Vermont. Eugenia from New York, she's one of our facilitators for plant-based eating. Sandra Lay she's actually my cousin. She's a family nurse practitioner student at Yale School of Nursing. So excited to have you all. And for those of you that are not nurses and are in the room and are nurse supporters, can you please write in the chat box where you're from and if you have any words of appreciation or anything you'd like to share for our nurses? can do that here. All right. My friend Chris, I met in India. He's from Switzerland, but I know he's in India right now. I think a lot of people are nurses also. Let's see. Okay. All right, great. Let's see, someone raised their hand. Oh, and Olivia met in Sweden. Janelle and I met in Sweden. Thank you so much for everything. Lots of love. She's from Mexico and Philippines. So people from all over the world, thank you so much for joining us. So I want to start the session today, have the session started too, so you guys can learn all about Tibetan Buddhist meditation and have some time to practice. And if Janelle has any, Janelle has some words for us to introduce our facilitator today. Go ahead and do that.
Hi, everyone. It's so good to have you all here. I'm so happy to see my nurse friends and colleagues and family, cousin even, joining us today. And those of you who I don't know yet, it's so wonderful to have you all. We're so happy about this project and put a lot of our heart and passion and inspiration into it. As we're not currently working clinically, we really wanted to support nurses and all that you're facing right now with some of these beautiful mindfulness practices. So today we have Maya coming to us from Israel. We're so happy to have Maya here. She's actually calling in at 4 a.m., which is so wonderful, so generous of her. When I first reached out to Maya, I thought she was still in India, and then I found out she was in Israel, and she said she'd still do it anyway. She'd wake up early, so generous of Maya to share her time with us. Maya is an art teacher from Israel, and she's been spending the last 6 years living in India, living in Dharamshala, teaching Buddhist meditation at the Tibetan Buddhist Center called Tushita. I spent 10 days there in a silent retreat learning about Tibetan Buddhism, and it was such a wonderful experience for me. And I'm really thrilled to have Maya share with us today and give you some of this beautiful, calming, heartwarming meditation from Tibetan Buddhism. So I will turn it over to Maya. Thank you for coming, Maya.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I thought before we start, I'll explain a little bit. I mean, it would take years to study this, yeah, but I can just give you some taste of what we are doing. So in generally, in Tibetan Buddhism, we have two kinds of meditations mainly. One is stabilizing meditations or shamatha, and this is where we are using an object, and the most easy one will be the breath, because it's always with us and it's always changing. So in a way, it keeps us back into the present moment. So we go back and back again and again to observe our breath as it goes in and out of the body without controlling it. It's not like in pranayama where we work with the breath. In shamatha or stabilizing meditation, we try as much as we can to let the breath flow in and out and just observe it again and again. And this is why we call it stabilizing meditation, because we choose one object and we stabilize our mind on that object. And in this way, we create a more stable, calm and sharp mind. Even though if it's your first time you've ever tried it, it would seem like the mind is totally out of control. It's just because we never looked at it before and we never tried to do that. So this is something that for me at the beginning was very challenging, because was and still am a little bit perfectionist. So when it seems like I cannot do it as much as I would want to, I get like all frustrated and so on. So a lot of the time, one of my teachers used to say, even the fact that you're doing this is amazing. So you continue sitting on the cushion or the chair and just go back again and again, focus on the breath. That's amazing. And that will create a better way of working with your mind. a tool of working with your mind and create a more balanced and clear way of looking at things, even though if it's a beginning, it doesn't sound like this or look like that. So that's very important, because when we take out expectation and frustration, that we are not able to stay for a long time with the breath out of the window. So then, even then, we are able to stay more with it. But it's take time and it's a process. So that's the first part of the meditation. And then I'm going to break it out and do a short break, just a minute or two, to if you need to stretch your legs. And then we go over to another part, which is something that is more unique to the Tibetan Buddhism, and which is what we call an analytical meditation. And in the analytical meditation, we are taking a topic out of the philosophy of Buddhism, and we use this to analyze things. And then in a way, there is a really amazing master called, she's a Westerner nun, and she did 12 years in a cave, meditating and doing Buddhist practices. Her name is Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo, and she's amazing, and she has an amazing book called Cave in the Snow. If you've never heard of her or read about her, that's a really cool book to get started with a little bit, because it tells her life stories and what she's went through, and she's really an amazing teacher. And she says, in a way, it's like with the analytical meditation and stabilizing meditation, it's like when you do a stabilizing meditation, it's like you have a knife and you sharpen it, and with the analytical one, you use it to look at your mind. So it's like a doctor that goes to a surgery and he needs a really good knife to cut the patients, in a way. Yeah, so it's you sharpen in your mind and then you look at the mind. It's very interesting the way she presented. I really liked it. And so this is what we do with a shamatha, or stabilizing meditation, and then we go over to the analytical part. So I thought, when we talked with Janelle, I thought, like, what kind of meditation can I bring? And I thought that's something that helps me these days, also because I got stuck in Israel. I couldn't go back to India. And for me, it's like, what's going on here? And sometimes it feels like, we have this tendency to see when the situation is more difficult, to think that that's how it's going to be, even though intellectually we know this is going to change. Internally, it seems like it's going to be like this forever, and where it's going to over, and sometimes it feels like it's not. And so I thought to bring a meditation about a topic called impermanence within the philosophy of Buddhism, and to really check and see how things are changing all the time, really. Our inner world of body and mind is changing all the time, and the outer world is changing all the time. And every time, also in the Tushita course, I always say, when we are doing this meditation, especially the analytical part, try to not, do this as an intellectual more, and try to bring it to internal, which really thinking about the answers. And when I'm going to bring a topic now, look at these things. Don't just say, okay, I looked at it, it's okay. But really look, check, see how it resonates with you. It's like you hear these things for the first time and you check them out for yourself. And when we do this, then we start to really internalize the meditation, and to really, look at it. For instance, when I'm going to say, look at the body, look at the beating of your heart, the lungs expanding and the contraction as you breathe. So you look at it, see how it changes all the time, and really examine this. So I'm going to do gaps when I'm doing the analytical meditation, give you time to really look at those things. And then I think when you do it often, more and more, that will be something that could help. And then we just finish the meditation, maybe we send in some love to ourselves and everyone else. That's also very important. To just, relax with things, and just remember that things are passing and they're not going to stay forever. And we can choose what we do with our life, with the situation that we are at, and how we tune our mind to create the best reality that we can for ourselves, because we can, it's in our hands at the end. And yeah, of course, I mean, maybe I'll have some short answer questions when I'm finishing, and maybe also some suggestions for books to read that talks about meditation in the Tibetan Buddhism tradition and so on, and see if it helps you afterwards. And so I think that's sort of like a brief, a brief introduction to this. And also I thought about like mentioning for like in Tibetan, the word meditation is actually, the name is Gom, which means getting accustomed to or getting familiar with. And that's actually familiar with your mind. You know, so we do these practices in order to get familiar with our mind and the meditation practice that we are doing. And I think it's important sort of like to know where it comes from, what the roots of it. Yeah. So I'm just gonna take a few moments at the beginning to go over our posture and see how we sit and adjust our body and mind. And I remember when, at the beginning, when I just did this thing, I was like, okay, just let it get over with, you know, okay, I'm adjust, come on, get to the meditation. But when you spend some moments just adjusting and prepare your body and mind for a meditation, then the quality of the meditation is better. So it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So when we really take some moments to prepare, that will make the quality of our meditation better. So we have several points that we refer to when we sit. So we can try to sit, you can sit on a chair, it's perfectly fine, or you can sit on a cushion and you can sit with your legs crossed, half a lotus if you can, but don't push your body into a position that is not accustomed to yet. So if you can sit crossed-legged, that's perfectly fine. You can put one leg in front of the other, that's okay. But try to have your back straight and your chest slightly open. You can even check it with yourself. When you sit, for instance, with your shoulder like this, you know, like in front of a TV or something like this, check how your body feels. And then you can even straight your back, you know, slightly open your chest. I remember my yoga teacher used to say, even if you cry, cry with an open chest, because it's changes the energy of your body. And immediately it becomes more light. It's very interesting. I tried it out. It was, yeah, it's just true. So, and then another point that is also very important, don't do it too much. Don't have a, you know, stiff straight back or stiff open chest. The analogy they like to use a lot of the time is like when we are tuning a guitar string. So we don't want it to be too tight and we don't want it to be too loose. So we try to find our balance within this, right? And try to have your head not too up or too down, but sort of like find your middle point. Some say it's like try to have your back like a pile of coins way on top of each other. And it's just also, you know, important. You can have your hands on your knees or the right one in the left one. And if you have them, you can just let them rest in your thighs in front of the navel, you know, something like that. So you can have your eyes closed or slightly open, but if you have them slightly open, so it's just to get some light in, you know, not to focus on what you're seeing, just like a daydream look in a way. And if it's possible for you, you can breathe from your nose, so gently close the mouth, letting the tongue rest behind the upper teeth. So that's sort of like, you know, just to get you started with the posture. And then, yeah, 1 second, just take it. And then we can try to get into a nice posture like that. And then take some moments to really scan our body. See how it feels. Yeah, and before we do it, every time we do a meditation or a practice some sort, we always try to use a motivation for why we are doing the practice that we are doing. And I think it's very important to have a good reason for why we practice, a good motivation. And so I wanted to use a quote that we usually use in Tushita from our booklets as a motivation for doing this practice. So mind can be compared to an ocean. Momentary mental events such as happiness, irritation, fantasies, and boredom can be compared to the wave that rise and fall on his surface. And just as the wave can subside to reveal the stillness of the ocean depth, so too it is possible to calm the turbulence of our mind, to reveal its natural pristine clarity. The ability to do this lies within the mind itself, and the key to the mind is meditation. So we take a few moments to just scan our body. Check how the muscles in our face is feeling. We have a tendency to gather tension in this area. So try to relax the muscles around the eyes, the eyebrows, the forehead, the mouth and the jaw. Make them soft and open. You can use the breath as a tool to help you with this, in a way as if we are breathing in peace, tranquility, calmness, gentleness, and breathing out the tension, the irritations. Try to let them out of our body and mind. We can check how our head feels, the skull, and go down to the neck. And to our shoulders. Let the muscles there relax. Let go of any tension. And go down into our spine, all the way down. Breathing in peace and tranquility, calmness. And breathing out the tensions. And then we can go to our abdomen, the belly. Another part that we have a tendency to get our tensions, even subconscious. So we try to relax the organs, the muscles around them. Let them just be and rest in a way as if the structure of our body was like a cloth hanger, and the muscles and the organs are like the cloth, resting on it peacefully and quietly. And relaxing the mind as well, without thinking about the past or the future, without having expectations for ourselves from this meditation. And try to bring our awareness to the present moment. That is all. Nothing more important than what we are doing right now. Working with our mind. And so to continue this process of preparing our body and mind, we can take 3 deep breaths, breathing all the way in, pausing for a moment, and then we can even release the air through the mouth, just letting all the remaining of the tensions from everywhere in our body and mind go out with our breath. And then when we finish 3 deep meditations and 3 deep breaths, we can start our meditation on stabilizing our mind on the breath. without controlling the breath in any way. Try to let it flow freely in and out of your body in a natural rhythm. And just bring our awareness to the breath as it goes in and out of our body. We can also use counting if we feel it's beneficial for us, it's helpful. We can use each cycle of breath, label it as 1, up until 10. Don't go beyond it. And then start again. Stabilizing our mind on the breath. Make it more sharp and clear. And if you feel that you are getting distracted or carried away with your thoughts, be happy that you notice. And then gently release the distraction. And calmly bring your mind back to the sensation of the breath as it goes in and out of your body. In a way as if our breath is like our friend. Help us to stay in the present moment. So try to be with it. Make it the most interesting thing that we can do, observing our breath. And if you feel that you are becoming dull or spacing out, you can always quietly take a deep breath in and then relax, refresh your body and mind. And again, for going back to observing the breath. So for a few more minutes, try to stay with your breath. Again and again, sharpening your mind by using the observation of the breath as it goes in and out of your body. So you can take a short break if you feel that you need to, before we go to the second part to stretch your legs. And if you feel that you can stay with the breath a little bit more, so you can do it. Don't push yourself, please, into something. And if you need to take a break, stretch your leg for a second. Check your shoulders that they feel okay and nice. Yes, so the body wouldn't be so stressed. And then we do a minute of a break and we go over to the analytical part. So for our second part, our analytical meditation about impermanence, about how things are changing. As I said, we are going to look at our inner world and then extend our view on the outer world. So again, try to find a comfortable posture to sit and taking a few moments to organize your body. Make sure that you're sitting nice, comfortably, balanced, with a straight back and slightly open chest, but not too stiff. That your head is not too up or too down. Rest in your hands. And then again, we take a few moments to examine how our body feels. Bring our awareness to our face, to our shoulders, our back, our abdomen, the belly, to our body and see how the muscles feels. And if there is some places that got shrinked or tight, we can try to use the breath to relax and release these things. Create more space between my muscles, more openness, and just let them be. They don't have to do anything right now. Remember, as if you are breathing in peace and tranquility, clearness, and breathing out the agitations and the tensions. Even scientifically matter, when we use our breath to help calm our body, that has an effect. Then relaxing our mind as well, without being concerned of the past or the future. And for now, just stay in the present moment, in the practice that we are doing right now, in training our mind. That's the most important thing we can do right now. And so again, you can take 3 deep breaths, breathing all the way in, filling your lungs, your abdomen, pausing for a moment, and then breathing out the air and letting the tension, the remaining of it, to go out of our body and mind, gently and peacefully. And then before we start, we can think of the fact that all things are impermanent, that nothing remains the same. Things are constantly changing, moment by moment. This constant change is the reality of things, but we find it very difficult to accept. Intellectually, it is not a problem, but real acceptance of impermanence rarely, if ever, enter our everyday behavior and experience. Instinctively, we cling into people and things as if they were permanent and unchanging. We don't want a nice person to change, and we firmly believe that the irritating person will never be different. And when we are depressed or dissatisfied, we have a tendency to think that we will be like this forever. Maybe just like in meditation, when we start to have some pain in our body, and then the bell goes, and the pain disappears after a few moments, because things are changing all the time. So we start by reflecting on our inner world of our body and mind. So again, we start by bringing our awareness to our breath. See how the breath is always changing. And the breath that we just took is gone. The same breath never to be experienced again. So for a few moments, we watch the impermanence of our own breath, how it changes every time. And now looking within the body itself, the heart beating, lungs expanding and contracting as we breathe, the digestive system processing our food or drinks. See how the body on a subtle level is in constant state of change. Try to experience this feeling of our body at work, the blood being pumped through the veins, all the movement within our own body. For a few moments, we just look at it, our body at work. And even on a more subtle level, see how our body is composed of cells coming into existence, moving, reproducing, dying, and disintegrates, always changing. And now looking at the mind itself, see how it is also composed of parts, thoughts, feelings, memories, and images, one after the other, popping up in our minds. So we take a few moments to spend some time simply observing the ever-changing flow of experience in our mind. Try to watch the river of the mind flowing constantly, constantly changing. And try not to get caught up in thoughts, memories, or make judgments or comments, but just to observe them as they come and go. Try to get the sense, the impermanence, the ever-changing nature of our own mind. And now, after we reflect on the impermanence of our inner world, of our body and mind, we can extend our awareness to the outer world, where we are at right now. See how the object in the room we are at, the cushions we are sitting on, the chairs, the windows, the ceiling, the floor, they seem so solid and static, yet they are made up of tiny particles, and those are constantly moving and changing. Try to reflect on this for a few moments. Looking even further, we can see that everything that makes up this world is in constant change. We, as human beings, are changing all the time. Animals, houses, cities, countries, the earth, the sun, and the moon. They are all made up of atoms and particles, and those are changing every millisecond. Nothing stays the same. Even our time, minutes, hours, days, months, years, always changing. Try to concentrate on this experience. Try to concentrate your mind on the experience of the ever-changing nature of things, our body and mind, and all external phenomena. And when our thought arises, or our feeling of impermanence fades, again analyze the body and mind, our external phenomena, and see how it is changing constantly. And then seated by reflecting on the impermanent nature of phenomena, we consider the way we hold into things, like our relationship, our wealth, our reputation, causes us suffering, because we see it as solid and unchanging. And then when we lose what we thought was forever, we experience such a despair. But by reflecting on impermanence, we prepare ourselves for the inevitable change. We learn to appreciate what we have. We don't take things for granted, rush to the next things, or grieve in the past. And also, actually, without impermanence, there wouldn't be a chance for change. Habits that we don't like, we couldn't change them. We couldn't learn or develop ourselves. Growth wouldn't be an option. So we can see that we also have an unbelievable opportunities because of impermanence to enjoy life's experience without declining on things or people, and to develop ourselves as human beings. Amazing opportunities. And so with a strong determination, we can try to think how we can make good use of this life that we have to develop as people. Because this opportunity that I hold right now won't always remain, but the potential is always there. And so to bring this meditation, just before we conclude it, we can send for ourselves, from our heart, some love and appreciation. We can even try to visualize like we have a ball of light, a sphere of light at the center of our chest, at the level of our heart. That's our wisdom, our ability to love, unconditional love. So we can imagine it glowing and warm in the center of our chest. Beautiful light. And try to send it to ourselves. We can use the breath. Every in-breath we strengthen this light, and every out-breath we send it to our body, to every cell of our body. Try to fill our body with light and love and warmth, wishing for ourselves good thoughts, good things. Imagine this light going everywhere in our body and mind. Warm, comforting, glowing. And then we can send it from our heart to everyone else, people that we love, people that are suffering perhaps right now, in our cities, in our homes, in the whole world, with the aspiration that they would be happy and free from suffering. And imagine this energy like a ray of sunlight going everywhere, sending love and peace, healing energy to ourselves and everyone in the world. Let this light of love and kindness and wisdom fill everywhere and everything. And as we bring this meditation into an end, we can conclude it by dedicating the positive energy we created by working with our mind, so that we and everyone around us would be free of suffering and find genuine, long-lasting happiness and peace. So slowly and gently, you can go back to your body that sits here on the cushion or the chair and open the eyes. And just be grateful that we have another day to live, to be able to work with our mind and benefit ourselves and others. Amazing opportunities that we have.
Thank you so much, Maya.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You.
You know, it's sort of like just the tip of the ice. There is so much, so many wonderful teachings and meditations. And for me, that was something that really changed my life. I think if I would had to experience what we're going through right now without the practice that I've learned, I think I would be in a totally different situation mentally, And so I'm very grateful, really seriously, for all the teachers. I mean, start with Lama Zopa Rinpoche and Lama Yeshe that, build up to Shita with the blessing of the Dalai Lama, and be able to, also the Dalai Lama himself is so amazing, bringing all this knowledge from Tibet to the Western world and working every day to try to help the world. That's just just inspiring. And I'm so grateful that we have these amazing teachers that dedicate all their life. And I mean, I look at the Shita and I see what it does to people that come there, even for just a 10-day course. And I'm very grateful. So I was very happy that I could, share a little bit of this with you guys. So yeah, there is courses of the Shita online even right now if you want to expand a little bit the knowledge, and with amazing teachers that are teaching. And also there is a book by Kathleen MacDonald called How to Meditate that explains the Tibetan philosophy, Buddhism, and meditation. And you've got analytical meditation there from different places, so you can also read it and do it yourself. And so really I highly recommend to check it out. Yeah, it's really amazing what you can find. And also Ellen Wallace has a book called Attention Revolution, and he comes from a very scientific point of view as well, and he presents those things combined together, which is really interesting. So that's sort of like things I can recommend for beginning. And yeah, check out the teachers, their names. All of them have teachings in YouTube and Zoom right now that we have in Tashita. So that's really, really cool and awesome. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maya, for sharing. I feel very calm now and relaxed, and I hope everyone else is too. Yeah, it's amazing. I actually was planning to go to Tushita when I was in India, but I decided to come back to California, and I waited out here. So thank you for bringing those teachings and the practice directly to our homes. It's kind of like you're bringing it from the Dalai Lama himself. It's amazing. And I want to hear from you guys. You can put in the chat box, how are you guys feeling right now? And if it's the first time you're meditating, you can also write that in the chat. A little bit of a delay. Okay. Well, Grace says, thank you, Maya. So wonderful, feeling calm. Tabitha, amazing experience. Thank you. Olivia, confidence, amazing. Kathy, feels good. One benefit from working from home now is that I am meditating before I start caring for patients remotely. Thank you for leading us tonight. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing to start the day off with, to get yourself centered.
Yeah, it's even 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel, I think because this stressful situation, sometimes you feel you don't even feel how your body starts to get stressed. And I remind myself every once in a while during the day, sort of like this small mindfulness alertness that comes, check how your body feels, because we can sense it in our physical body. And then I just take a few deep breaths, and even this helps a little bit. And we can bring mindfulness to whatever we do in our life in generally,
Mm-hmm.
Even when we eat, even when we brush our teeth, my teacher used to say, just be with brushing the teeth instead of thinking about all your world. That's a practice of mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
Even those few minutes, and you did it. So, yeah. And that, scientifically, research shows how it really impacts the mind for the better.
Okay.
So
yeah, it doesn't have to be a long, drawn out, like hours of meditation. It can just be like a couple moments where you're really truly present. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, there is a teacher called Mingyu Rinpoche, and he says, even do small breaks into small, you don't have to. I mean, I know that sometimes after Vipassana, people have a tendency to just say, okay, I have to meditate 1 hour a day, and it lasts maybe for a week, and then they just chuck the whole thing. And so we say, even just do it a small scale, but every day, and this really changed your life.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can build on this, but slowly.
Yeah, just the start is great.
Yeah.
Thank you again for sharing. We're a little bit over, but that's okay. I just want to open it up. If there's any questions for Maya, you can write it in the chat or raise your hand and ask the question, or if people have to leave, that's okay as well. Any questions for Maya? Or I know actually Tabitha raised her hand earlier. If there's any questions. If not, thank you so much. I just want to share, we have 9 more days of amazing sessions. We have restorative yoga tomorrow. So Jill, let me just share a picture of Jill here. So this is Jill Hubbard. And she is a yoga teacher. She's learned from a lot of different teachers, learning Hatha yoga, Kula yoga, Iyengar. Her teachers are influenced by lots of master teachers, but she also puts her own little flair to it as well. Jill owns her own yoga studio and wellness center in Brooklyn, New York. And she created a safe haven for everyone to feel accepted. She was talking to some of her friends that were Black women, and they said that they just didn't feel as comfortable or accepted in traditional yoga studios, and she wanted to create a space to welcome everyone to the practices. In addition to teaching at her studio, she also teaches free monthly community classes for local tradeswomen. She teaches yoga to kids in New York City public and private schools, and has been teaching private classes as a longtime Lululemon ambassador. So you won't want to miss this. It's a restorative yoga session. And if for you guys that haven't tried it before, it's more of a gentle yoga, very nurturing. You hold poses for several minutes in a comforting, held manner. And you can bring your cushions and pillows and maybe a blanket or eye cover to just keep you really comfortable, and it's so nourishing. I also want to share with you, so don't miss that. Our other sessions are available on the schedule. We're also continuing the mindful nurses sessions after the 10 days. So for the nurses that want to join a community of like-minded nurses and continue learning about self-care practices and supporting each other, can join the Mindful Nurses community on Facebook. I'll put the link on there, and you'll also receive it in the email. We're also recording all of the sessions, so you'll get a replay every day, and it'll be available for a week at a time. And the sessions are free, and if you'd like to donate, we're also doing a fundraiser for Direct Relief. Direct Relief is a humanitarian aid organization, and right now they're helping healthcare providers, healthcare workers get the PPE they need, like those N95 masks and other essential items they need to do their job and put their life, they're always putting their lives at risk. So I'll put that in the link as well. Janelle, is there anything you want to share?
Just thank you all so much for coming. Thank you, Maya, for sharing this practice. I feel so calm now, and my heart feels so warm.
You're welcome.
I'm so grateful to all of you. I'm so happy to see so many familiar faces here, and I hope you'll stay with us for the next 10 days. We have a lot of exciting things happening, so please come whenever you can. And when you can't come, we'll be sharing the links by email, so you can listen to them when you have time. So great to have you here. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you are.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much, all of you. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye, Chris.
See you.
Oh.
Oh, I just thought someone had a question about the 15th. Are they
still
I
just
on?
thought too.
Milena. She's still here if you wanted to.
Oh, Milena's still here. Okay. Hi, Milena. Sorry, I missed your question. So I'm going to be doing a Tibetan sound healing session. So I have Tibetan singing bowls, and I'm going to lead us through a singing bowl sound meditation. So basically, you're going to be laying down if you choose, and you can wear headphones if you'd like. It's probably best for the sound. And you just lay there and receive the sounds, and it's so relaxing, and you just chill out. So there's nothing you need to actively do. Just be prepared to have a comfortable place to lay down and not get cold. But yeah, I'll be playing the singing bowls. Make some beautiful sounds. And before that, we'll have a grounding exercise. I don't know if you have any other questions about that. If not, you guys can always email us or contact us on social media, Facebook, Mindful Nurses, Instagram, Mindful Nurses _ Mindful _ Nurses. Yeah, and I'll put it in the chat here.
Oh, Milena, we can't hear you. Sorry. If you have a question, you can type in the chat. Or I can't hear you. Can you hear me,
I can't
Claudia?
hear you, Milena.
No.
You can, Milena?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, okay. I was muted. Oh, I was just,
Mhm.
thanks for the info. That sounds really great. Just curious if you will be playing the bowls live, because you mentioned the headphones.
Oh, yes, I'll be playing them live. Some people like
Wow.
having headphones just to have the sound more like close to their ears and
Oh, I see.
surround sound type of effects, but it's optional.
Right. Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for.
I'm actually a friend of Keiko Benson.
Oh, wonderful. Yes,
Yeah, so she posted it, and I just said, oh, I'm kind of curious, and so I joined. So I'm not a nurse, but I heard about it through her.
Yeah.
'Cause I guess
yes,
you told her about it, right?
Great. Thanks for coming. See you. Hope
Yeah,
to see
thank you.
later on.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone. Have a
Bye,
great day.
everyone. I'll close the meeting.